Hey everyone, I'm back.
This is my daughter Reagan, home from college, and today she wants to learn how to use a chainsaw.
So I can add more weapons to my artillery.
And I think that's just fine if any of the boys get out of line, they go
Take a few inches off the top.
take a few inches off the top and bury whatever's left. So, no, just kidding. Anyway, I want to teach chainsaw safety today, and there's a lot to chainsaws. They're a dangerous tool, and Reagan, just so you know, my dad taught me how to start a chainsaw, and that was the only training I got. He never told me how to be safe with one, and I watched him and realized that if I didn't learn some safety techniques, I was probably going to die, because I remember one time I was helping him stack wood, and I was leaning down to get the wood and put it on the trailer, and he was cutting, and he would cut it and swing the chainsaw out and move the wood, and I looked up and there was a running chainsaw blade that far from my nose, and I thought, I'm going to have to learn some safety here. So today I'm going to teach you not only how to start a chainsaw and how to run it and how to maintain it, but how to be safe with it. Now the first thing let's talk about with a chainsaw, if you've never run one before, you have special fuel that goes in the chainsaw, and it goes on the back side here on the handle side. And I just brought this out as I've already put the fuel in it, but you need a container with regular gas, and then it's a 2-cycle engine. It burns oil as it burns gas for lubrication. So you put this oil, you fill this up halfway, dump the oil in, and then fill it the rest of the way. And that runs a lot of leaf blowers and chainsaws, but it's 2-cycle engine oil is what this is, and this is a 2-cycle engine. So there's not a container of oil in there for lubrication. It's all burning through as it goes. Now the other thing you've got in the chainsaw, you've got 2 chambers here. This one is for fuel, and we got that full, and this one is for oil. And as the blade goes around, it's discharging a little bit of oil to keep the blade lubricated. The oil for the blade, my dad passed away in 2007, and I'm still burning waste oil that he saved for his chainsaws, because any oil will work. If you drain the oil out of your car, it's still good enough oil to put in the chainsaw to lubricate the blade, because it doesn't take much lubrication. This is an old, really, really nasty container of waste oil that is at least, 2007, 14 years old, but that's still good enough. And so you put that in this chamber, and as you're running the chainsaw, that's discharging oil here. Now, a couple of things about a chainsaw. The danger of a chainsaw is it jerking back at you. If you're cutting through a limb and there's something on the other side and it hits it at the wrong angle, it can kick back. If it kicks back, it's going to hit your hand, and that locks the blade up and kind of shuts everything off.
Okay.
So if all of a sudden your blade's not working, you can pull this back, and that releases the blade, see? And this is really sharp. You don't want to run your finger across it or anything. To me, the big risk is you're cutting down something on top that falls on you.
Okay.
And then the other risk is just getting the saw stuck. And if there's a load bearing, if you've got a log, and I'm wearing old nasty clothes because that's what you wear when you chainsaw. If you've got a log that's sitting on the ground with a limb here and you cut in the middle, it's going to pinch that chainsaw. And that can kick back, or it can just stop it. And when the limb starts to separate and it comes together and pinches your chainsaw, then you got to go get a jack or a tractor or something to pick that up. So we'll show you about how that works later on. But a couple other things about chainsaw. A lot of people don't know, in the end of a chainsaw, there's a little hole for you to lubricate the bearings on the end here.
Okay.
And it takes a special little grease dispenser to do that, and you just push that in that hole and push it down a few times. But a lot of people don't know these are here, and that end has got places that need lubrication where that blade goes around that bar, and if you don't lubricate that can burn it up. So if you got gas with the oil in it, and oil, and you got your end of your blade lubricated, you're good. I like to have just a little bit of slack in my blade. I think I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit. If the blade gets loose, the blade can come off, and that that's not loose enough to come off, but that's looser than I like it. But you don't want it really, really tight either, because the engine is having to work hard to push it. So you want to be able to just kind of lift it up just a little bit. You want to keep your blade sharp. If you ever are having to try to move it back and forth like you're in a sawing motion, your blade's dull.
Okay.
And you just well stop and sharpen your blade. Normally in normal operation, you can cut a long time without having to sharpen your blade. But if you get down and you're sawing a stump and you just nick a rock, it doesn't take anything, or there's a wire in the tree that somebody's used a tree for a fence post, you'll see a little spark come out and your blade's done. You got to sharpen it. Now to start a chainsaw, push the trigger here and the handle down, and then push this little knob right here down.
Okay.
And hold it and then let go. That's choke. And so you're going to put your foot right here so it doesn't come back at you, and you're going to give it a quick yank, and it'll take a couple of quick yanks. And choke means you're feeding more air into the carburetor than you normally would, and that helps it get started. But as soon as you hear it kick off, brum, 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 turn that off up to here.
Okay.
And it's going to start wide open.
Cool.
Click that and it goes back to regular idle.
Okay.
That's how you start it. Now for safety today, and I'm not plugging Stihl. I've worked at a Stihl dealership and I've used their products. They got great products. Their safety stuff is wildly overpriced, and I'm sure they've got a lot of liability in it, but I bought a high dollar, for me, Stihl safety kit for my daughter, who I don't want to get injured. And she's going to wear all of it. We'll get this put together and get her all safetied up, and then we'll go out in the woods and start cutting some wood.
Will it fit on your... Is it on your head?
It fits pretty good.
If only you could plug in your music.
Well, here we are by a down tree we're going to cut up today, and you'll notice we've changed chainsaws. A little Stihl chainsaw that I've got kind of gave it up. I probably had some old gas in it. And I've also got a Homelite, a little heavier, a little smoother running too, that Reagan is going to use to cut this tree. And we've got dogs around us here, and I don't like that. I always like to keep animals away. But this particular tree, Reagan, is a tough one to learn on because you got to get back into it. But what you want to do when you're chainsawing like this, you want to get these outer limbs cut maybe 8 or 10 feet long so we can put them in a pile and haul them off to a burn pile. So you don't want to cut off little sticks because you'd just be picking up sticks all the time. You want to cut off chunks. And so what we'll probably do is start right in here and start cutting off chunks. I'll pull them away and that'll give you room to get in. Now this tree had a bunch of vines up in it, and eventually a wind came along and took it down. And it's warmer today than we want it to be. You really need it to be 38 degrees to chainsaw comfortably or less. You get real hot real quick in all the garb. But anyway, we're going to start chainsaw up. Now this chainsaw has got a little different setup on it. I'll just show you. It's got a push to prime it. It's got a choke and an on-off switch. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull the switch in. Why don't you come around here, Reagan? I think I'm showing this to the video. We're going to push that in and push that button right there, and that holds the handle in. We're going to pull the choke up all the way. We're going to prime it, push it 2 or 3 times to give it a little fuel, and then pull it, and it'll boom, 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 boom. And when you push that choke in halfway, it'll take off. Then push your handle in to let it idle, and then push the choke all the way in. You're ready to cut.
Okay.
We're gonna try it, see how it goes. Okay, you don't have to saw. Just let the weight of the saw go through it. Try it
Okay.
again.
Oh, wait.
Well, we didn't get quite done, but we got a good start on it, and Reagan got to learn how to use a chainsaw. We'll come back to this when it's a little bit cooler, so we're not so sweaty. I appreciate you watching my videos. I'd be honored if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking the mic face icon and checking the bell so you're notified when I post future videos. Here's a link to my website and the Tractor Fun Store with unique items for sale for the tractor owner. It helps support my channel, and here's another video you might want to watch. Thanks for watching.